What's up, Internet? I'm Kevin Orosz, and in this video, I'm going to drop some of my own experience around the notorious spiritual bypass, what it is, how it affects you, and what's happening right now in the collective, right? From my perspective, and from many perspectives of people I trust and have been through life experiences with. So anyway, spiritual bypassing, right? Spirituality, first off, is highly individual, highly unique to you and to me. So I'm not going to pretend to define that for you, understand what that is for you. Invitation to situate yourself in this discussion, right? And it is a discussion. I really want to know what you think in the comments. But the bypass, right? The bypass is going up and above, down and under, around town to avoid the thing, right? To avoid the issue, the wound, the trigger, the relationship, whatever. So, spiritual bypassing. What in the world is it? And why is it such a thing? And I'm going to work myself out from where my experience is and try to get this to the whole, right? Because I'm a performance philosopher, and this video is just me really riffing on this and dropping some theoretics and some experiential nuggets. So, first off, if you're like me, and many of you are, because in this algorithm that you're seeing this video on, you're probably in the community, right? If you're in the spiritual community, you're in a bubble. I don't know if you know this, but you are in a straight up bubble, less than 10% of the whole planetary population. And I say spiritual community very broadly. That can mean going to yoga class. Maybe you've been to a drum circle. Maybe you drink green juice. Maybe you're really into plant medicine. Maybe you love Ram Dass or Oprah or Eckhart Tolle, whatever it is. If you're in the spiritual community, it's a straight up bubble. So what happens here? What happens here? Well, it's an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber. Something called confirmation bias is rampant, right? Which is like, well, I'm all love and light. There's nothing negative about me in my experience. I alchemized all that. There's no shadow here. There's no shadow here. I moved that in my ayahuasca ceremony. There's no shadow here. I did a Kundalini yoga teacher training. So any shadow has to be you. So I'm going to project that onto you. Or any shadow has to be those Trump supporters. I'm going to project that onto them. Well, guess what? This doesn't work, and it never has worked, because humanity has been offloading the work onto other people, usually the weak, usually another gender, usually another race, usually another class of people, right? Sex, money, power, lower chakras. This stuff is rampant, right, in human history. So the spiritual bypass in the spiritual bubble community is fucking rampant. How do I know? Well, I've done it. There was a time where I, walked off the plane. This is like 2015, after backpacking through Nepal and doing, an Iyengar Osho hybrid yoga teacher training in India. And I just thought I was the shit. I thought I could just walk around and just, yes, I see that your shadow is here, my friend. Let me pop it for you. Let me share teachings and esoteric concepts, because my head's so far up my asana, It's just like, I did that, I've done it with biohacking and nootropics and medicine and yoga, and you can get caught in these modalities. And so if you're in the spiritual community, just invitation to look at what's happening. Are you bypassing? Are people you hanging around bypassing? And how do you know someone's bypassing? Well, their words might be doing this, the mouth's doing this, the mind's doing this, but there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing embodied. Your bullshit detector, your instinct, your gut can feel that there is a paradox happening. And maybe there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're getting into intimate relationships, when you're getting into a business, when you're building a community, when you're speaking to muggles, now you have some issues, because if these things aren't addressed, they come out sideways, right? The shadow gets popped up in these other areas and emerges and causes short, middle, long-term problems. And I don't need to go into a diatribe about that. Again, invitation to see this in your own life. So let's project out a bit here. And I'm gonna go after everything right now that isn't the creative, free individual being, right? The sovereign being, the creative being, which I think is humanity's birthright. Certainly it seems to be my natural state. I'm human, I'm an ordinary man like you. So you probably have this too. The spiritual bypass is notorious in politics. It's notorious in religious hierarchy. It's notorious in the healthcare profession, right? Because spiritual bypassing is holier than thou. I know the right thing. The bad people are doing the wrong thing, and so let me justify this for you. Trump supporters, perfect example. Spiritually bypassing their God, their spirituality of Trumpism is an example of a bypass, because there's an in and an out group. There's the opposition, the shadow projection, right? The old cycle of humanity. Oh, there's some grandiosity. There's an ego trip. Oh, there's a deficit financially. There's a debt. Oh, there's sexual confusion. There's sexual wounding and pain. It can't be mine. It must be the Democrats. Oh, it can't be mine. It must be the liberal media. Oh, that's fake news. Guess what? That's all spiritual bypassing. Because everything is spiritual and nothing's spiritual, right? Again, that term is the murky one. Bypassing is what I feel pretty clear on. Well, let's go to outside politics, right? Religion. I grew up myself in the Catholic faith, and they truly believed and told me as a young boy, age 7. And I felt this was bullshit intuitively. Instinctually, I felt I could smell the bullshit. But, it didn't land on me. It didn't dawn on me till much later. If you weren't raised in XYZ faith, again, my flavor was Texas Catholicism, you're going to go to hell, And if you don't go to hell immediately, we'll go to this waiting room called purgatory where, you'll be sorted out and, God will just judge you and kind of figure out where to put you because by luck, sorry, SOL, you weren't born into this area, right? This is pure bypassing, right? The chosen people, 144,000, the anointed ones. This is bypassing humanity. This is bypassing a piece of the human experience. This has nothing to do with whose God can beat up whose, right? Or, well, I don't even believe in gods. I believe in science. I'm an atheist, right? Or I don't even, I don't go to church. I actually am a yogi. I find my God through, Ishvara Pranidhana, my inner God, my inner self. There's all these ways that power is given away and bypassed from the real experience of two human beings living together in the mystery, right? Living creatively. Here's my art. Do you like it? It's conveying my inner experience. What's going on there? Here's my science. I found out some data about the natural outside world. How does it make you feel? What does it make you think about, right? These worlds are merging. They're blending. The gateways are coming down because of these devices and the internet, which is the Library of Alexandria on steroids, where you can access almost any amount of information, quality of information, flavor of information you want. But the embodiment's what's missing. The direct experience is what's missing. Speaking to the truth of the matter is what's missing. And so what we have right now on this planet in many, many, many domains, right? I named a few. The spiritual bubble community, which I might name as yoga, medicine, enlightenment, sadhana, doing the work, etc., etc. And in politics, and in religion, and in gender, race, and class conflict. The work and the movement of energy is just human to human. It's about humanity, and it's about eliminating and sacrificing to oneself, in my mind, the creative life, right? And creativity can take many forms. I think creativity for me is the most powerful thing that's worth living into and speaking into and embodying. All the lip service and the concepts, when you connect and try to transcend and get out of the body, or when you deny and suppress and try to get out of the heart, this is where the spiritual bypass comes in. And the world is seeing it. The world is waking up to it. I can open a mainstream news source on my computer right now and I can see evidence for it. Can you? Invitation to see that, Just take some breath. And see it. Not just looking and watching for whose data is more flashy or who says the right thing or who looks the prettiest, but seeing, not looking, but seeing. What is the energetic? What is the embodiment? What's your instinct tell you? What's your gut tell you? What's your heart tell you? What's your sex center telling you? What are the soles of your feet telling you? That's how you can see through this stuff. And there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of bullshit out there. And so I felt called to capture this, make this video, invite you into it. If you're feeling me, tag somebody who needs to hear this, you know? Share this video if you're really feeling this message. And you know, whether you're in the bubble spiritual community or whether you're in middle America and you've never even heard of that community, are you surrounding yourself with bypassing people? Are you yourself bypassing? And what can you do? What are the steps, the actions, the inspiration to start embodying the truth and the creativity of humanity? Love y'all.